Add to cart abandonment. Today we're going to talk about ATC abandonment and what is it exactly? Well, that's when somebody goes to your site, pre-click, they get hit with an ad from search or Facebook or whatever, and they click. So now it's post-click, they go to your landing page and they see a great product, they do add to cart, they do initiate checkout, they do payment method, and then guess what? They don't buy, they bounce. And when they bounce, they get marked for add to cart abandonment. Usually this is because they already registered with the site, so they're already logged in, right? Because add to cart really is just add to cart. You really don't get to put in your information on a brand new site unless you're at between initiate checkout and payment method. That's when you log in for your information. Technically, it's initiate checkout abandonment, but for some reason add to cart it's stuck, and that's what people call it. And like I said, that's only when you're logged into the site. That's when you truly are able to say this person added cart abandonment. You know, because the information is already logged in and you're already there. You're already registered as a user. So today I thought we'd go over some stats before we started. The first is that according to Hotjar, desktop is the least amount to get cart abandoned. So people are pretty serious when they're on desktop. Next is tablet. The third is mobile, which is 86% of all cart abandonment, or it has an 86% cart abandonment rate, but accounts for 65% of all traffic. Most window shopping is in mobile, of course. That only makes sense. Another thing about Hotjar that's really interesting, I've worked with it once, is that's where they really get into nitty gritty of conversion funnel drop off, because they look at your landing page, they look at the way your initiate checkout and payment methods hooked up, and usually you don't have much say once it does initiate checkout, because that's you're in Shopify at that point, or you're in Kajabi or whatever. Shopify. So, but up until then, it's able to say where people were in terms of your real estate on your ads, where they spent the most time, where the cursor was, where their fingers were, and where there's even drop off compared to their benchmark. So it's a good service. I'd actually recommend it. And then most traffic from social media has the highest ATC abandonment. And again, it's window shopping. There is something called guest checkout. I actually advise all my clients to make sure that's set up through their e-commerce clients. That's a must. That can account almost even up to 30% of all your sales just by having simple guest checkout, and that's when you're not part of the remarketing effort, but it's still a good thing to have. Always make sure you have that because a lot of people don't like to be logged in. They don't want to be remarketed to. They just want the sale and get out. And that means they're just not going to be, they're not opting in to be tracked really, but they just want the sale, even though they give a lot of their information because that's how it's sent. The first thing we do, so now we're going to talk about how we set up add to cart abandonment. This is through GA4. So for GA4, you go to admin, you go to audiences. So this is it right here. Again, admin audiences. Then you have your audiences here and you click on new audience, right? And a lot of this is pre-populated. A lot of this stuff already shows up, but you go to new audiences and here you pick your event. So obviously add to cart is included here. You can also include some other things as well. But as you can tell, I included add to cart, payment method. This is supposed to be initiate checkout, but it's or. Notice how I say or. So it has to be one of those three has to happen, and then they abandon. Just like I said in the beginning, right? Really, it's not add to cart abandonment. It's initiate checkout abandonment if they have not logged in. So it's all these or statements and excluded, right? And excluded purchases, right? Because if they purchase, they purchase. They're part of the wins, right? But if they haven't purchased, that's the ones we want. We want add to cart abandonment. And again, you select it here. One other thing is the durations. These are pretty cool because you're able to segment out these people by the duration of when they cart abandonment. So it can be, I think, 0 to 60 days or so, or 70 days. I usually, for cheaper things, do it very quick. For longer things, I keep it till a little longer, 30 plus days, maybe even 40 days. It's really whatever, it's almost like attribution. It depends on what how big the sale is. So once you save, you actually don't do anything else. It actually ports over. You go, now this is in GA. I'm in Google Ads. And so when, yeah, that's Google Ads. Sorry. I use GA and GA interchangeably. So I'm in Google Ads now, and the campaigns, you click audiences, you click edit audience segments, and then boom, you're able to browse and find these. And it's usually through website visitors, and that's how you find it. And this is basically how you activate it. Now, the next question is what placements should I use, right? Because you have all sorts of really cool options. You have PMAX, you have DemandGen, you have search, you have RLSA ads, right? The remarketing list search ads, all sorts of cool stuff. Display, should I do display? I'm not a display guy. I can tell you that right now. Although I do like DemandGen, and there's a very good reason why when it comes to e-commerce. The reason why is this here, the product feed campaign. The product feed campaign here within DemandGen is A+, because this allows you to use Gmail itself to remarket to people, right? So you set conversions or conversion value, and then as you can see here, right, product ads, only ads, and then boom. You see, you have YouTube, you have Discovery, and then here you have Gmail. And then look at that Gmail. That's a beautiful product ad. That's exactly what we want. So it's remarketing to them, exactly what we want through Gmail. And it's almost like getting on the cheap. Now, how and when should you do this, right? Because as we were talking about this part, let's go back here. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is a good point. When you set this up in Google Analytics, it's only good from the day you set it up. It's not retroactive. So if you set it up on the 1st, just June 1st or whatever, it's only good from June 1st, and that's when it starts tabulating. But let's take a look at the math, right? So a few days, it's only 10 people, right? Like, is this really worth it? Is that worth setting up a whole campaign? It depends. For smaller campaigns and smaller accounts, probably not. PMAX already does this, my friends. So you really don't have to do it. However, there are verticals where add to cart is a big deal. For instance, we landed a travel account that's a competitor to Expedia, which is very proud. I'm so happy about this. And so we just found it, like, after doing all of our auditing and talking with the owner and all sorts of stuff, add to cart is huge. It is absolutely huge. That's actually what's made me spawn this video, because we actually do email marketing. They're using us for that, and we're doing it within our ads. So it's like a huge effort to bring people back into the marketing funnel. Now, why is it such a big deal? Because people in certain verticals add to cart like nothing, like as if it's giving it away, right? And that's because you have something like travel. Like I was saying, travel, think about all the add to cart abandonment you do there. You go in there, you're constantly checking different sites. You're constantly looking at the official hotel site. You're looking at, like, say, for example, Expedia or Travelocity or hotels.com. You're just comparing and just think about that. Like all the add to cart abandonment you're doing all day long, not to mention even the airline stuff that you do. It's voluminous. It's huge. It's like, so when you have something like that, like a vertical that spends heavy, and add to cart is a huge thing, of course it makes sense to do this. And add to cart is how you bring them back in, because they've gone to your site, they know who you are, they may even be registered even, right? Because if they've gone to initiate checkout and they've entered their information, hey, they're part of your program now, right? And then you're able to clear them in either your organic or your paid. So again, the more larger verticals, where there's add to cart is just a huge thing. And then of course you saw these metrics on e-commerce, right? We're talking 80% plus. So, and I actually believe in this. This actually is pretty high. It's a lot higher than what I thought it was, because I used to deal with, the conversion rate drop off at the 50% level, that it should only drop off 50% between when they add to cart to initiate checkout to payment method of purchase, which still holds true. I mean, this is overall our add to cart abandonment, which makes sense. But the conversion rate drop off between the ATC, IC, PM, and purchase should definitely be at the 50% level. Anymore, it means you got to do some fine tuning. It probably means maybe you have to do some hotjar stuff as well. So definitely take that for a spin and take a look. Outside of that, I wanted to touch base real quick. We are on Medium. We also launched a WhatsApp group, which I think is really cool. So you have access to me, free access to me to talk and ask any questions. We actually have some moderators in the room as well that can take questions. Outside of that, we are going to do a live show. I'm still working on that. That's still a thing, guys. I really think that'd be a cool thing to do. And then, of course, we have our podcast. So please, reach out. It's on my link tree, which is in the YouTube channel itself. So we actually have the link for the WhatsApp chat, if you will, and you can join our chat room. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to answering some more questions. Thank you for your time.